So thank you everybody for joining us this evening. I'm just going to share my screen. We're very excited to be able to spend the evening with you on this really, really exciting topic. And let me just share my screen. Okay, so eat it to beat it. Now, this is something that we felt really, really passionate about because you're often told not to eat it for starters. So we thought, actually, how much fun would it be to be told to eat it to beat it? Now, I wanted to share a little bit more about my background and kind of emotions and how they come in for me, and also food relation as well. So when I was 6, we left my family home with my dad and we started an adventure, but actually it was really because my mum was having a nervous breakdown. And of course, as a child, you don't really understand this, but as an adult, I now know that that's what was going on. But we ended up in the south of France and we were homeless, and we lived at the top of a mountain in a tent the whole way through winter. And we had literally very, very little money. We had to sing in the streets to get money, and we had no food. So it was very much an association with those two, which was quite an intense experience as a child. So now as an adult, I know that growing up, I had to deal with very intense emotions because of my upbringing. It was a difficult upbringing, but I was able to find ways to cope, and I was able to find ways to get through. And actually, one of those things, and this is what I'm known for, is my positivity and determination to get through. That's what I'm known for. My association with food was, if you have money, you get food. So obviously the association with that, as I, went through life and achieved a lot of things that were amazing and that were great, it meant that my food increased and not always the best. And that's why I'm so excited about this, is be able to look at the foods that are going to really support us, but also for me to be able to share the tools that I have used to support with my emotions. So I just wanted to share a little bit about my background and why this is so, so important for me. And Vicky's going to share also why this is really important for her.
Hi, so I'm Vicky Wilson of Energize Health and Nutrition, and I'm a nutritionist and a homeopath. I specialise in the health of women over 35 with a particular interest in stress and anxiety. And I began studying medicine 15 years ago when my daughter was 1. First through homeopathy, I did a 4-year degree, and then I did a nutrition diploma. And I enjoy working with my clients to help them feel less anxious and overwhelmed. For me, my first experience of anxiety was after having my first child. I was exhausted, stressed, and anxious. I was breastfeeding and not eating or drinking enough. I was stuck in a vicious cycle. And more recently, those feelings returned following the death of my dad. Unfortunately, this time I had the tools to turn it around by altering my diet and adding in a few lifestyle changes. How many of you have experienced a panic attack when you can feel your heart beating hard, you feel breathless and paralyzed, waiting for it to pass? You are not alone. 1 in 6 people are affected by common mental health issues, and there are 25 types of anxiety recognised on the Anxiety UK website, including different phobias and PTSD, and feelings range from a mild unease to intense fear. So what are the common symptoms of anxiety? So the feeling that something bad will happen, palpitations, panic attacks, difficulty concentrating, worrying all the time about things in the past or in the future rather than focusing on the present. Mental and physical tension, so you might get headaches or muscular aches. You might be quite snappy, irritable, restless. Insomnia, so either you can't get to sleep or you wake frequently in the night, and these will lead to low mood and they can progress into depression. So there's several strategies to help through this, and Cathrine and I will discuss these this evening.
Amazing. Thank you, Vicky. Before I kind of share what these oils can do for you, I wanted to share a little bit more about why these essential oils can be so powerful. So I want you to grab your wild orange. So those of you who've got your little mini wild orange, grab your wild orange. Those of you who don't yet, please remember to message us your address so that we can send it to you. And then you're going to take the little bottle and you're going to tap it 2 to 3 times on the bottom. Because it's a tight, for me it's a drop, but for you it's a tap. You need to tap it so that it comes out. And then rub your hands together. And then you're going to take a big breath in. And a big breath out. You can do that 3 times. And then you're going to rub that, the residue, the rest that's left over, on the back of your neck. And this, so the wild orange is one of those just beautiful smells. And the potency, you probably notice how strong that smell is. So why are these so strong? Why are these so different to any other essential oils that are available that you may have experienced? So Doterra essential oils are back to nature. They're how essential oils should be. They are 100% pure. And what's crazy about that statement is you would think that all essential oils were 100% pure, but actually the industry standard is not that. And so essential oils can have as little as 4%, and they're still able to put a label on that says 100% pure lavender, for example. And of course, when there's not that much in it, the tool doesn't serve you. So you might have tried lavender before to support with anxious feelings, or you might have tried lavender before to support with sleep, and it hasn't worked. And that's because you probably need about 25 drops of that lavender to get that 1 drop of essential oil. And so it's not effective. Whereas doTERRAs are literally what it says on the bottle. So that wild orange is just that. They source the oils from all over the world where they're supposed to grow. And it's similar to like strawberries, in season and out of season. They might look the same if they're grown in a greenhouse, but they absolutely taste very different, don't they, if you bite into it? And it's exactly the same with the essential oils. They are so potent, so we only need a tiny little amount. The other thing that's really awesome is they don't have secondary side effects. These can support with physical and emotional needs. Sometimes we have emotional needs that turn into physical needs, and they're really friendly to the body's natural biochemistry. So how do we use these essential oils? So for mood, it's a really powerful way to support aromatically, and we're going to look at why scientifically in a moment. Then you've got topically, so that's directly to the area of concern, so whether that's digestive issues or whether that's tension in the head or pains, aches and pains. Then you've got internal. Now this again is so important to remember that this is only the doTERRA essential oils, because if you were to take other essential oils internally, it could be very dangerous. So we take some of these, not all of them, some of them we take internally. And for example, the wild orange is actually an amazing one that you can put in your water, and it has that really powerful cleansing and detoxing, but also mood lifting. So what is it that we're looking at this evening? We're looking at that well-being, and we've got the whole, if we have all of these areas supported, so mind, body and spirit, and we nourish all of these effectively, we are at our best. If we start to forget or not nourish these effectively, then we are not functioning the best. So there's also a lot going on right now that we are having to deal with. And so what we would like to help you with is give you tools and strategies to be able to support and nourish these areas of your wellness. So if you can't change it, change the way you think about it. See life as it is, but focus on the good bits. These are kind of statements that really stood out for me, to be able to remember what is it that we really want to be feeling or seeing. Ooh. So emotions are information carrying molecules. They bind and react to the cell receptors. They get into the cells and they create a function. So what does that actually look like? This is really, I love science, and this is why I get so excited with essential oils, because the science is really powerful. When fragrance is inhaled, the odor molecules travel up the nose, where they are trapped inside here by the olfactory membrane here. So the olfactory bulb is here, and it's very fast. It's very, very quick. And it's one synapse, so it's super fast acting. So they travel up here, and then they are stimulated by these odor molecules, and that triggers electrical impulses to the olfactory bulb in the brain. Now, because the limbic system is directly connected to those parts of the brain that control the heart rate, the blood pressure, breathing, memory, stress levels, hormone balance, essential oils can actually have a profound physiological and psychological effect. The sense of smell is the only one of the 5 senses directly linked to the limbic lobe of the brain, the emotional control center. So that's why anxiety, depression, fear, anger, and joy all emanate from this region. And that's why, and all other senses are rooted through the thalamus. But this is why these are so powerful and so important. So when you are breathing in that wild orange, that one synapse, it's so, so powerful and impacting. So what does that mean when these emotions are passed throughout the body? Now, the first time I saw this, I thought, hey, that sounds really weird, the 3 brains, but actually we're all interconnected. And this is, science has actually revealed that the complex neuroprocessing functions are actually in the mind, heart, and gut. So you've got your mind, that's the subconscious minds, and that directs over 90% of the behavior. But the heart, the intuition, there's actually more neuropathways from the heart, so that run from the heart to the brain than the brain to the heart. So our feelings are so, so powerful in our behavior. And then we've got the gut, and that's why I absolutely love being able to work with Vicky on this, because 90% of the body's serotonin involved in mood management is produced in the gut. So of course, what we are putting into our bodies is so, so key to supporting our emotions. So how do these 3 brains communicate with each other? What does that actually look like? So you've got life experience that pops up. There may be lots of different things going on, like there is for this lady here. So she's processing it, her brain's saying, I have to figure this out. Her heart's feeling overwhelmed and her gut is stuck. So what happens? Head tension, conflicted feelings, and an unsettled stomach. She's disconnected. On top of that, that creates a belief that she's not good enough, and her belief will show up in her life and create a reality. I watched an amazing movie not that long ago, and it talked about, it was a granddad talking to his grandson about emotions, and he basically said, well, actually, we all have 2 wolves in our lives, and there's the wolf that focuses on the positivity, and then there's the wolf that focuses on the negative things, and only one of them can survive. And so you need to be careful which one you are feeding. And I just thought that was a really powerful image to have in our mind of which one are we feeding. And I'm going to hand you over to Vicky to talk about the foods that you can use to support that as well. Oh, you're muted, Vicky, sorry.
This isn't a diet, it's about changing your lifestyle, because sadly there's no shortcut or magic pill you can take if you want a long-term solution. So this is a suggested plan, so there's suggestions. So don't get overwhelmed about trying to do the whole thing. I'll quickly run through it and then pull out some of the points. So it's good to balance your blood sugar, because if you have blood sugar drops, you know, like lows and highs, it can give you nervousness, irritability and shakiness. So it's good to have 3 meals a day. Oh, sorry, I'll just quickly run through this bit first. So eating unrefined foods rather than white bread and pasta, going for whole grains. Choosing organic where possible because they're more nutritious and they won't have things like pesticides or hormones or antibiotics. Increasing your fruit and vegetable intake to get in those vitamins and minerals. Increasing your water intake. Looking at omega-3 good fats and cutting out the omega-6 bad fats. Avoiding empty foods and cutting out or down on things like caffeine and alcohol, which can make you more agitated. And looking, you might have food allergies, so if that's the case, you need to cut those out of your diet. Three meals a day, and then maybe throw in a couple of healthy snacks as well to keep the blood sugar balanced throughout the day. I get hangry, I know, if I don't eat, I get hangry. So you can see that if you're not keeping yourself sustained, it does affect your brain as well. And going for the low glycemic load foods, so they keep you fuller for longer. And it's important to have a good breakfast to start the day. So you could maybe have some eggs, avocado, or some porridge, or something like a smoothie. So maybe a banana, some kale, some berries. I like almond milk. You can have it with normal milk as well, and a scoop of protein to get that satiety. Coconut oil is the healthy omega-3 fats, and then maybe adding in a scoop of greens. And you can have that for breakfast, or you can take it with you if you're commuting eventually. And then also I like porridge. So the gluten-free oats with some almond milk and honey, turmeric, which is anti-inflammatory, and cinnamon is good to help with the blood sugar balance. Flax seeds have the healthy omega-3 fats, and then you can add in your own nuts and berries and seeds, so they'll again make you feel a bit fuller. I like the Linwood's milled flax seeds. You can get that from any supermarket, and just remember to put it in the fridge, otherwise they can go rancid, and then obviously you wouldn't be getting the benefit from it. So the next thing is to try to cut down or cut out processed foods. So looking for the whole healthier foods. So trying to eat a rainbow, so you're getting more fresh vitamins and minerals, and include foods with healthy omega-3 fats. So these are like oily fish, walnuts, avocados, coconut oil, seaweed and algae, chia and hemp and flax. So you can add them in the seeds in your smoothies, or you can just snack on walnuts with fruit. That'll help balance out the natural sugars, things like that. So we're trying to have the more whole foods so that your body's breaking it down, because with things like sweets and the white bread and pasta, you get the sugar highs. But with the starchier veg, you feel fuller, and also you're less likely to snack, so you're less likely to just grab a biscuit if you feel fuller. And things like nuts and hummus and carrot or a bit of celery are quite nice to snack on, or oat cakes as well. I like oat cakes. So increasing your nutrients by adding in more leafy grains, legumes, beans, which increase your B vitamins, which help you make more energy. So that'd help. And things like sesame, almond, milk, dairy, leafy green veg, helps to increase your levels of calcium and magnesium, which help you feel less anxious. So to reduce and ideally eliminate any stimulants so that you don't get the anxious feelings. So these include caffeine, alcohol, but can also be any nicotine or drugs. And also, if you're on any prescription medication, it's best to check with your GP. Things like the contraceptive pill and aspirin actually deplete your vitamin absorption. So if you are really desperate for your coffee, there are other options available. So you can get water decaffeinated coffee like lean caffeine or equal exchange. You can look at coffee substitutes such as mushroom coffee or chicory, or Pucker do some lovely latte blends which are caffeine free. I like the Pucker and the yogi teas, like particularly the women's energy tea, or they do like a turmeric green tea as well. Green tea is good for you because it's got less caffeine in it, and it has benefits like theanine, which help you to feel more relaxed. Alcohol, if you like gin, there's Seedlip, which is sugar and alcohol free, or there's a clean gin, which is only 1.2% alcohol. So you can look for low or no alcohol wines, but just be careful because sometimes they add in extra sugar or sweeteners.
Oh, sorry.
So it's important to increase your water intake. So our bodies are on average 60% water, and dehydration reduces your mental and physical function. I don't know if you've noticed that if sometimes you forget to drink and then you get that sort of tension headache. But alcohol, unfortunately, doesn't count because the more you have, you're just peeing out more than you're actually absorbing. So you should aim for about 1.5 to 2 litres of filtered water a day, or diluted juice or herbal teas. And as Cathrine mentioned, you can add some of the oils to your water to give it a bit more taste.
Amazing, thank you. I actually wanted to add as well, because my husband's biggest issue with drinking water was he just didn't like the taste of water. So it was one of his biggest jumps in making a change to, you know, a much more healthy lifestyle, was he uses lemon in his water or lime and ginger in his water. It makes it really exciting. So those are great ways to increase your water intake, but actually it's still really exciting. So amazing, thank you.
And some bonus foods that you can add in are organ meats, obviously if you're not vegetarian, which are very nutrient dense and have lots of iron and things like that. Fermented foods, so nice miso soup or kimchi, which is a kind of pickle, because they're high in probiotics, which is good for your gut. And as Cathrine said earlier, we make most of our serotonin in our gut, which is the happy hormone. Broths are nice, particularly bone broths. So again, that will help with your gut. And you can add in various herbs and spices. So it's very important that we look after ourselves, especially at the moment. So even taking 5 or 10 minutes a day, just some time for yourself, a bit of quiet time. Looking to increase your exercise, so you're getting the endorphins, maybe a bit of yoga, tai chi, getting outside in nature when it's not raining, and dancing. I love my dancing too. So just spending time with your friends, or at the moment just talking to them, FaceTiming them. You can use things like mindfulness, meditation, or relaxation techniques. And then we'll go over some supplements and herbs and maybe some homeopathic remedies. If you feel you need extra support, maybe you might need some counselling or some cognitive behavioural therapy. And there's some good suggestions on the NHS website. One, Every Mind Matters, One You. and then Cathrine will go through the essential oils as well. So sleep is very important. So we all need, a good night's sleep. You notice if you're awake that you don't feel great the next day. And there are actually studies that show that lack of sleep can lead to anxiety and depression. So you should be aiming for around 8 hours a night. And it's good to follow a wind down routine an hour before you go to bed. So turning off your devices, charging them outside of your bedroom, or putting them on sleep mode so that you're not getting messages coming through. Maybe have a relaxing bath. And Epsom salts are good because they've got magnesium in, which again helps you to relax. If you do like the herbal teas, have a chamomile or a nighttime tea. Definitely not any black tea close to bed or coffee, because that'll keep you awake. Maybe use some lavender or a nice pillow spray. Also don't have a heavy meal or do exercise too close to bed, because then it's quite hard to relax and you might also get a bit of indigestion. So if you have trouble getting to sleep, it'd be quite useful to have a notebook next to the bed, so you're jotting down any thoughts or making any lists so they're not turning around in your head. Maybe you might need blackout blinds, or you can use an eye mask. Earplugs if you're in a noisy environment, and making sure that your room is cool but not too cold. And it's quite good to get outside during the day, because the daylight helps to regulate your sleep patterns. And if you do suffer from insomnia, you shouldn't lie in bed for more than 20 minutes. Maybe get up, listen to some music, read a book, and then when you feel sleepy, go back to bed again. So ideally, we want to get all of our nutrients from our food, and supplements should just be an extra. But if you are, if you're new and you're just starting and making a few changes, it's quite good to add in a good spectrum multivitamin. And we're looking at things like vitamin E, potassium, selenium, and a good probiotic for your gut. B vitamins will help to increase energy. And if you're vegetarian, vegan, you'd need to supplement B12, as you can only get this from animal or dairy products. You might need to take an iron supplement, but you need to get this checked first, as it can be dangerous to overdose on iron. Vitamin D, especially at the moment when we're not getting enough sunshine, or if you're vegetarian, vegan, because again, the majority is in animal or dairy. And omega-3, so if you ideally eating your oily fish 3 times a week, and if not, you can supplement. And for the vegetarians, you can get algae supplements as well, which have the high omega-3. And some herbal remedies to look at include St. John's wort, ashwagandha, and valerian. And that's something I can advise if you're interested in that.
Amazing, thank you, Vicky. So what I love about, the fact that the supplementation in that way is the fact that, and I just wanted to kind of share what I've used and how it's had an impact on me. So Doterra do a supplement base, and with omegas, the alpha CRS and the microplex. And I'm not going to go through exactly everything that's in them, because Vicky's gone through quite comprehensively what supplements can do for you. So I just wanted to share what these have achieved for me. So I used to need a nap all the time, like every day. If I had enough time to have a nap, I would be like, right, I'm having a nap. And of course, when you're feeling so tired that you need that nap, you're not very pleasant to be around, really. You're not as bubbly, or I would manage to be bubbly when I was outside of the house, but then when I would come home, and we all have our outdoors person and our indoors person, and that person that at home they see is not always your best self. And people used to always say to me, oh, you're always so bubbly, And I used to think, amazing, that means I'm performing perfectly, because it wasn't how I was feeling at all inside. But once I started taking these supplements, I remember it super clear as if it was yesterday that somebody said that to me, and I kind of took stock. And I thought, oh my goodness, I actually am genuinely feeling the way I am performing. And it was the nicest feeling. I stopped needing to have a nap. I was able to respond so much more calmly. I would definitely describe myself as a green to red person, which is not very pleasant for your closest family. And so who noticed the most? Well, my husband was probably the first one to notice that this was changing a lot for me. And my dad, like a lot of people realized that actually, because life comes along, there's really hard stuff we have to deal with. And so what this did was it just enabled me to react in a more kind of logical way, as opposed to just flying off the handles, which is what is the best description to how I would react to stuff, or just get really upset or really angry. And that's because I wasn't in control of my emotions. So using these plus the essential oils, and I will do a little bit more about those shortly, but the foundation of nutrition is what goes in, that's the foundation. It's that well-being is what we put in our mouths, it's what we eat. And so this is really powerful to be able to support with that. So I just wanted to share what it changed for me. So what are essential, like how will essential oils support us with our emotions? So we already looked at how that sense of smell can have such a powerful impact. But one drop is equal to 40 million trillion molecules. What a big number that is, hey? Don't ask to write it down. So these chemical compounds service every cell in the body in a matter of minutes. So it's super fast, very, very fast acting. They are then able to go into the cells and support those cell receptors, create and support that healthy cell function and maintain a natural state. This is such a powerful way. And you know how I said that smell is the most powerful way? So you can, again, put it on your hands or pop it in a diffuser. You might be able to impact the emotions of everybody in the room. Like maybe people are really struggling right now and you're trying to calm everyone down, whether it be homeschooling or just working from home. What a powerful thing to be able to impact on. So because emotions and essential oils are chemically based, they actually react within the body. And so using these essential oils to create a reaction that we want. Sometimes emotions are so powerful, we can't kind of get out of that. Like people will say, count down to 10 or take a deep breath. Sometimes we're too frustrated, whereas picking up an actual tool and putting it on ourselves actually sometimes breaks that emotional cycle and helps us to change something. And that's what's really, really exciting. So some of the essential oils I wanted to share with you today are, so we're going to look at frankincense first. Now, frankincense is one of my favorite essential oils. If I had to run away with one, not that I plan to do so, it would be this one. And that's because it is so complex. It does so much for anything brain related. So brain function, emotional imbalance, really low mood, all of those kind of connections in the brain as well. So, some people have difficulty with connecting things, whether it be on the spectrum, or my son, for example, he's got PDA which is basically called pathological demand avoidance, and this is on the autistic spectrum. Now, his biggest issue is anxiety, need to be in control. So this is why this is something that's so intense for me, and I'm so passionate about it, is because when he has kind of a meltdown or something that he can't see, he literally can't see, like as we could see, all I do is I take the oil, I tip it like that, not even a drop, pop it on the back of his neck, and literally within minutes, if not seconds, he takes a deep breath in and he goes like this, and then he goes, sorry about that, okay, let's go.
Gosh.
And it just, every single time this happens in our home, I just feel so thankful for these essential oils, so thankful. Now, children's emotions can be more powerful than ours at times, but it's just because we've grown up and we control them a little more. That doesn't mean they're not there. And so it's so important to remember that we need stuff to support us. So then you've got the lemon and the wild orange. These are really, really powerful mood lifters. So any of the citrus oils support with lifting that mood. And that's why the wild orange is one that we use right at the beginning to really lift that mood. So the next one we're going to do, let's do this one together, is the peppermint. So if you grab your mini peppermint bottle, and you're going to do the same as last time, a couple of taps. Now, peppermint is really, really strong. It's a really powerful smell. And what you're going to do is rub your hands together the same, but be careful of your eyes, because you want to potentially close your eyes, and then take those 3 big breaths in. And out. Obviously in and out. Got to say out, didn't I? And in and out. And then pop some on the back of your neck. And this is a really, really powerful way to open those airways, but also to energize. So if you're feeling really low mood, low energy, it helps to support with focus. This is a really, really powerful oil to be able to use to kind of just go, right, I've got this. Let's go. Let's do this. It's a really, really amazing one to do. And actually what's really nice is you can actually do the wild orange and the peppermint together. So those are lovely ones to do. Then you've got On Guard. On Guard is the protective blend. Now this is for any seasonal threats, but also emotional threats. So if, again, you're in a situation where you feel like your emotions are threatened from the environment that you're in, it helps to protect the boundaries, so the emotional boundaries. So a very powerful oil to support and protect against vulnerability. Then you've got Adaptive. Now, Adaptive is literally, it's one of my favorite ones. They do it as a roller ball as well. So it's just super, super easy to use. And this one is, when situations occur, it helps you to adapt too. So of course, when everything started going down, I was like, where's my Adaptive? I need that. And it has supported me, and I use it every day, and my children use it as well. It supports us so, so much. Then we've got our emotional aromatherapy set. So you can obviously see these essential oils, and you can see the emotions that might be going on that feel the need for these essential oils. Now, they are literally designed, and the most amazing thing about these essential oils is you don't need to remember anything that I say this evening. You do not need to remember any of it, because Doterra have a whole host of scientists that do all this research for us. So instead of us having to know everything, all we need are the tools to be able to look them up. And that's really exciting. So whatever it is that you have going on, there's an oil to support. Now, alongside these amazing emotional aromatherapy, we also have these 4 core ones on the right, which is the balance, the grounding blend, elevation, that joyful blend, serenity, the calming one. Now, this is the one that I use to sleep, because when everything's going crazy in the world, we all need a little bit of calm. And I diffuse this in my diffuser, and it helps so, so much to just get that really restful sleep. And then the citrus bliss is, again, that it's to literally support with mood lifting. So I'm going to hand you over to Vicky to talk about the case study.
So I'm going to share a case study of a lady that I've helped. So I've changed her name for confidentiality reasons. So Bev is a 38-year-old female. She's self-employed and she's married with 3 children. And she was suffering from an autoimmune bowel condition, but she also has issues around self-worth, angering easily and poor sleep, and she felt anxious. She previously had postnatal depression and still had occasional panic attacks. So she was looking to improve her mood and motivation and to lessen her gut symptoms. When I looked at her current diet, it was high in animal protein, low in omega-3 fats, high in simple carbohydrates such as white bread and pasta. She ate the same kind of things each day for convenience, and her water intake was quite low, but she did like herbal teas as well. And she'd only smoke when she had a glass of wine, so she was trying to avoid having both. And here's the personalised plan that I formulated for her. So we cut out wheat and gluten because of her digestive issues. But as I said earlier, you might want to get yourselves tested if you feel you might have issues around those. To add in the oily fish 3 times a week with the omega-3 fats. To increase her vegetable intake by having a smoothie in the morning, because she was on the go with the kids, so it was quite handy to have that to take with her. And she had money worries, so I suggested getting frozen veg because they're still as nutritious, but obviously a bit cheaper. Bone broth is great. You can make your own, or you can buy it and freeze it. So having a cup a day has glutamine in it, which will help to support your gut, and again with your serotonin levels. And to increase anti-inflammatory foods in her diet, so things like blueberries, broccoli, cauliflower, spinach, garlic and onion, they're all good. And I asked her to cut down on red meat and pork, as they can be quite inflammatory on the gut. So she added in protein with each meal so that she felt fuller. And I'll go through that in a minute. To add in some yoga once or twice a week to have a bit of me time and to help her to relax. To add in that wind down routine, as we discussed earlier, sort of an hour before bed to help her to get to sleep. And I added in some remedies because of her gut issues. So that's the oily fish. We call them the smash fish. So they're high in omega-3. So sardines, mackerel, anchovies, salmon and herring. And with the sardines, you're also getting the bones, which will help with your calcium levels. So ideas for adding in protein. Things like oats, nut butters are quite good on an oat cake or a bit carrot or something as a snack. Quinoa or lentils, maybe with your lunch or with your dinner. I like eggs, so eggs in the morning or adding a boiled egg to your salad. And then broccoli, cheese, nuts and seeds, they're brilliant snacks to have during the day. Chickpeas with your dinner maybe. And then also you can have, a chicken breast, your fish, or a cup of beans is also a portion.
Sorry.
Oh yeah, and if you're looking for ideas, it's quite good to look at low GL, low glycemic load cookbooks or paleo cookbooks as well. So when she came back after 5 weeks, she felt that her gut problems had improved. She'd had less flare-ups with her gut issues. She was less angry with her children and with her husband. Her sleep was better and she had a bit more energy. She was less anxious and she hadn't had any more panic attacks. She hadn't yet been able to do the full plan, within the 5 weeks. But she'd been using it as a guide and she felt quite encouraged to carry on. And I'd sent her to a GP to get her iron levels checked, which came back as low. So I started her on an iron supplement as well. So now it's your turn. What 3 simple changes can you commit to making in your diet? even reducing your coffee from 5 cups to 2. So I promise you that a small change can make a big difference. So either pop it in the chat, or you can text one of us if you like. I'll just give you a minute just to think about that.
I loved how in her thing it's always the husband and the children that are the ones that benefit from this the most.
Yeah, we've all been there, haven't we?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Okay, so you managed to pop it in the chat box. Let's have a look. Can you see the chat box?
Lisa, increasing water and regular meals. Yeah, that's a good one.
That is a good one.
Better snacks. So yeah, nuts,
Nice.
hummus, fruit, water, sleep and wind down routine. Yeah,
nice.
So the wind down routine will help you to get more sleep, and then you'll have more energy and feel less anxious as well.
Tracy's put more wine. I think you mean less wine.
All your low alcohol wines.
I like it.
Taking time out, definitely.
Taking time out.
Yeah, definitely me time at the moment with everybody at home.
Yeah.
Just going for a walk, you know, getting some fresh air.
Absolutely.
Water, definitely. Water makes a big difference, just having a bottle there so that you're remembering to have a drink.
And the crazy thing is, when you're feeling kind of that low mood, the last thing you want to do is get out and about, isn't it? You're just kind of like, oh, I just don't want to do it. But as soon as you do that change, it really is that it has a massive impact on you. It really, really does. And that's why for me, using the essential oils was kind of like a journey where I used the essential oils to give me that kind of get up and go and do this, so that then and it literally created an amazing, powerful journey. And to have the tools then to look at exactly what Vicky's saying about what is it that you're eating that can support you in that way, it's just really powerful. And sometimes we forget, we forget exactly, well, what food can I use to support with that? And that's so really, really exciting.
Because a lot of diets, they're saying, oh, cut out all these various things, and then you just end up feeling hungry, and that's sort of not helping your body and your brain, because you need to be giving it the fats and the energy to be working optimally.
Yeah. Okay, so the last little bit, so I've changed this to your future.
Yeah, so if you visualize your future self, once you've made all these amazing changes, you'll feel a lot less anxious, more focused and energetic. And wouldn't it be great to feel like that? Looking at the sunset, that would be beautiful right now. So next steps, I'm going to be running an online group program called Nourish Your Mind and Body, and that'll be starting on the 1st of March, running for 4 weeks. So you can opt into that. We're going to be sending out a feedback questionnaire. Or also I offer free 30-minute discovery calls if you'd like to work with me on a one-to-one basis. So that's available.
Amazing. And then what we can do is we can go through your top 3 health concerns, so whether they're physical or emotional, and we can look at discover which oils that can support you. So you've definitely had for those of you who have got the wild orange and peppermint, you've had an experience. And the reason why I really wanted you to have them is so that you can feel and smell the difference between these and other essential oils. So if you haven't had them yet, please do make sure you reach out so that I can send you them, because it's important to experience them. Otherwise, you don't know why they are different. We do weekly classes on essential oils, and we have an amazing community where, we get to support and educate, on how to use these essential oils to support you in so many different things. So whether or not, it's sleep, or whether or not it is, exercise, and that you don't want to feel all those aches and pains. It's all these different things that this can support you with. So and I'm really excited. So like Vicky said, so the call to action is, what happens now? What do you need to do now? So text either myself or Vicky. So we're going to put our numbers there on the screen. So text us your top 3 health concerns that you really want to work on. And I want you to think about, you know, what is it that you have going on? What happens if it stays the same? What's the impact of that? What happens if it changes? What's the impact of that? The way Vicky just said there, visualize these changes. Now, sometimes we need a little bit of help to get those changes in place, and that's what we're here to do to support you. Then book a call to answer any questions so that we can help you get started. So take back control of the things you can control. There's so much we cannot control right now. And do you know what the most freeing, most powerful thing, especially when you're feeling kind of frustrated, stressed, you know, all of those emotions that you may be feeling right now, so many people are feeling this just out of control. This you can control. You absolutely can. So it gives you something that you can genuinely focus on. So you're then giving yourself that gift of wellness that you can really, really embrace right now. Somebody asked me the other day, you know, it was actually somebody's birthday coming up, and they said, do you know what, this last year, this totally doesn't count. So I'm just going to ignore it and I'll be the same age. And I think that's a really great idea. But how about we use this as almost like a step down from what our normal life is, and use it to just become the best versions of ourselves? Because some stuff's been stripped away that made us really busy, and I don't have time for this, I don't have time for that. Some stuff that's been taken away created that. Whereas, and of course, there's loads of stuff we're missing, because a lot of that well-being is integrated into what we're missing. But we can choose to make changes now, and we would love to be able to help you. So definitely reach out, text us, let us know how we can support you the best. And then this is like, I love quotes, so I find it hard to choose one. So here's 2. So one of the greatest freedoms is how we react to things. Now, when our emotions are like all over, remember how I said I'm green and then I'm red? When our emotions are all over the place, sometimes it's really hard to react the way we want to react. So we want to support you with that, so that you have that freedom to react in the way you want to react. And I love this. You have the power to say, this is not how my story will end. You really do. And we're really excited to be able to share this evening with you. So thank you so much for joining us. And
thank you.
And Vicky as well, thank you so much. We've had a lovely time being able to do this and put this all together for you. So I'm going to stop sharing my, oh no, we've got one more slide, but I'm going to stop recording and then I'll open it up to questions.